Good evening and welcome. Thanks very much for tuning in to NDTV. I'm Padmaja Joshi, and on every story that matters, as always, the buck stops here. And today we'll talk about something that really hits home in more ways than one. Something that we're thinking about every day as we sit in our houses. And in fact, we think about it at least thrice a day at meal times. The question is India headed for a huge kitchen crisis? Are we going to be short of fuel? Are we going to be short of cylinders? What are we going to do? The ongoing West Asia war has led to a near closure of the Strait of Hormuz, leading the world's largest oil exporter, Saudi Arabia, to cut its output. The result? Many countries are now left staring at a potential fuel shortage, including India. The first red flag has been raised by the restaurant, hotel and hospitality industry after the government prioritized the supply of domestic LPG. Simply put, what the government is saying, that yes, there is a shortage internationally, and what we are doing is we are cushioning the Aam Aadmi, the kitchens of people against this impact. We are going to ensure that the domestic LPG supply remains uninterrupted. So we are doing the balancing act. Restaurants now say that because of the commercial supply of gas being cut down, they are getting only 2 to 3 commercial LPG cylinders as opposed to the 7 or 10 they need every day. With the result that many restaurants have pared down their menu. They have also shifted to wood stoves. Some are even warning of an imminent shutdown. And these alarm bells are ringing across the country. Such voices have been heard from Maharashtra, from Tamil Nadu, from Karnataka. But the government at this time has made it clear there is concern, but there is no crisis. According to sources, steps have been taken to ensure that domestic consumers are cushioned from any impact whatsoever. Even other industries continue to get 70 to 80% of their supplies, a paring down that could be rolled back within a matter of a few weeks. In addition to that, LPG output has been increased by 10%, refineries are working at 100% capacity, and 60 lakh cylinders continue to be supplied every day. Why this statistic is important is because it underlines that this is the standard figure. So far, even before the war, about 60 lakh cylinders were supplied, and that figure remains unabated even today, even after the war has entered its 11th day. And finally, the government has also invoked the Essential Commodities Act, which will allow it to step into the market and manage supply chains. Net, the message is there that a global shortage precipitated by the Iran war has become a reality for us. But India is prepared and we are comfortable. But are we really? With restaurant owners protesting the diversion of fuel supply to domestic users and some states reporting queues at gas depots, questions are being asked of the government. Are we really okay? Are we being kept in the dark? Are we covering up a crisis that could blow up in our face any day?
बात यह है कि संकट बढ़ रहे हैं और बढ़ेंगे, क्योंकि जिस तरह से हमारी सरकार ने ये जो ट्रेड डील है इनकी, इसमें जिस तरह से झुके हैं अमेरिका के सामने, उससे हमारे संकट बढ़ेंगे।
इस लड़ाई के वक्त में जो कमी हो रही है, आपूर्ति कैसे करेगी सरकार, उसकी सरकार की तैयारी क्या है? अदरवाइज तो चीजें इतनी महंगी हो जाएंगी कि आम आदमी के हाथ से बहुत सी चीजें निकल जाएंगी। और हो सकता है 2 हफ्ते अगर इसी तरह चला तो हमें आपको वही पुरानी व्यवस्था पर खाना बनाना पड़ेगा, कंडे ढूंढने पड़ेंगे और लकड़ी का इंतजाम करना पड़ेगा।
The entire country is boiling. All hotels wanted to close there because they doesn't have gas. All prices will shoot up. So all have to look at firewood or electric stove or kerosene stove. Even there is no kerosene also for all these stoves. So it will be a very great problem in the entire country. Central government is not reacting to it.
स्टेट एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स मिनिस्टर ने जॉइंट हाउस में स्टेटमेंट भी इशू किया है। पेट्रोलियम मिनिस्टर ऑल्सो ने एश्योर्ड कि अगले 2-3 महीने में कोई दिक्कत नहीं आएगी, ऐसे एडिक्वेट स्टॉक्स हमारे पास भी हैं। आई थिंक द वॉर, लेट्स होप दैट द वॉर कम्स टू एन एंड as early as possible, and sanctions have to be found out. I think options are available. Other countries also, for example, Russia is going to supply oil to India or some friends.
केंद्र सरकार राज्य सरकारों के बीच साथ में मिलकर जो सप्लाईज हैं, सप्लाईज को जो पश्चिम एशिया में युद्ध थी, उस युद्ध के पहले वही सप्लाईज को हम रिस्टोर करने जा रहे हैं। आपके माध्यम से मैं लोगों से निवेदन करना चाहता हूँ, कृपया उन नकारात्मक ताकतों की अफवाहों में मत आइएगा। सरकार पूरी तरह से आपकी सप्लाई को रिस्टोर करना चाहती है और होर्डिंग कृपया कीजिएगा मत। जो पहले सप्लाईज का जो क्वांटिटी था वो जल्द से जल्द रिस्टोर होगा।
And that is really it all boils down to. Is there a shortage? Could there be a shortage in the near future? Are we prepared for it? Is there real fear? Or is there only fear mongering? And for everyone raising a lead flag, is it genuine or, well, just gas? Joining us on the show today, we have Pradeep Bhandari, national spokesperson of the BJP, author and economist Rajat Sethi, Santosh Mehrotra, economist, A. Sarvanan of the DMK will be joining us in just a bit. But my first question is to Sanjay Jha, political analyst, because I have to say the most unique criticism in the middle of all this has come from you, Sanjay Jha. I was reading your tweets and you have said, given the unlimited gas the BJP has, given their great disaster, India should have never faced an energy crisis. There you go, you solved the crisis for everyone.
Firstly, Padmaja, my apologies. I've got a slight sore throat, so kindly bear with me. I think it is a very serious matter. I believe that it is okay for the government to try and sound very hyper rhetorical and say everything is hunky dory. It is not. And I tell you why we should be concerned as citizens of the country. 90% of our oil consumption is funded by imports. 50% of them come through the Middle East supply routes. And we know that the Strait of Hormuz is basically non-functional. So the impact on India, short term to medium term, is definitely very, very serious. And I live in Mumbai, and I can tell you one thing, Padmaja, several restaurants here are likely to close down over the coming days, if not weeks. The reason behind that is very straightforward, that even today, when you see the BJP saying everything is okay, what they're not telling you that the price of domestic LPG or the commercial cylinders has already gone up. So the impact is already being felt. And there is one data point, Padmaja, that is very important. Unlike many countries, Indian households spend around 7% of their budget on petroleum related goods because we are not a rich country. People have to use LPG or kerosene or diesel or petrol. So 7% people will use no matter what the price. And that is a matter of concern. And I think why I'm disappointed with the BJP and some of its political leaders, because they tend to dilute the gravitas of the moment.
But they are saying there is uninterrupted supply. We have enough reserves.
Well,
as far as domestic LPG is concerned, there will be no disruption.
Well, you're hearing very conflicting reports, right? Some people are saying for just X number of weeks, some people are saying 6 weeks. But the bottom line is this: even if the G7 countries manage to release a lot of their $400 billion barrels that they have in their stock, the bottom line is very straightforward.
But the G7 actually decided against it. Yeah. You're right. The G7 met to discuss whether they should release their reserves, and even they decided against it. And India is saying we have enough reserves as well.
Yeah, because the G7, a lot of them are actually playing the markets in terms of how they will react to Donald Trump's announcement. But here is the bottom line. India is vulnerable, and it's not just oil. Please don't forget, is LPG, LNG, 50% comes through the Strait of Hormuz. And we have gone and taken a pro-Israel stance during the war.
Okay, so let me just simplify it, because we've spoken a lot of things. What are you saying? Are you saying that we are in the middle of a crisis, that there is a shortage, or there will be a shortage given what is happening in the Middle East?
Well, my simple statement is it is not catastrophic as we talk, but we are imminent and on the verge of a precipice if we are not careful. And this kind of arrogance that everything is okay, it is not okay, because they are not even talking about the free fall of the Indian rupee.
Okay, let's just address it one at a time. At least Sanjay Jha has been kind enough to concede that it is not catastrophic, but you are on the edge of a cliff, and at your peril, Pradeep Bhandari, you are trying to downplay what could be a very, very real crisis. Point of the matter is that 7 days ago you were saying we are absolutely comfortable, and now 7 days later you have had to cut down the domestic fuel supply, the commercial fuel supply.
Well, Padmaja, as I speak, the nation has not forgotten how the Congress party, when it was focusing on oil management, was planning and in fact thinking of shutting down petrol pumps post 8 p.m. So Sanjay comes from the hangover of the Congress government when the UPA was in power. Let me assure you, and through you, let me assure all the viewers of NDTV that there is uninterrupted supply, there is no shortage, India is well covered, and I will prove it by stating certain facts. Fact number one, when this entire crisis started around 10 days back, India was roughly dependent on Strait of Hormuz around 45%. At present, 70% of our entire supply is not dependent on Strait of Hormuz. Fact number two is that we are right now sourcing our energy needs from more than 40 countries, unlike 27 countries. Fact number three is that we have the fourth highest refining capacity. Fact number five is that overall LPG consumption in India is of approximately 90,000 metric tons, out of which only 15,000 metric tons is something which is for hotels, restaurants, and commercial operations. And there is zero, and when I say zero, I mean it, zero interruption in supply for domestic LPG. Even on the price of domestic LPG, if you compare the price of 2022 and 2026, there has hardly been a difference of less than 7 rupees. So there has not been, after 60 division also, you will see the difference and the delta is less than 7 rupees. And as we speak, let us look at what the markets are performing, and I will end it with this. In the last 24 hours, Japan's market has gone up by 3%, South Korean market has gone up by 6%, and India's Nifty has also gone up, and the crude oil price, which has reduced from $120 a barrel to $85 to $88 a barrel. So you are seeing it crude correcting itself because of the recent statement by the United States of America, where it believes that the entire war is nearing or very complete or pretty much complete. So as the price will correct, India will be the biggest beneficiary. And please compare the situation of India to, say, Vietnam, where the government is asking all the individuals to work from home.
Okay.
Let me assure you that, as the Prime Minister said, the common man will suffer the least, in fact does not have to suffer. On the part of commercial, we formed a committee and we will resolve that.
But here's the thing, Pradeep Bhandari, you're saying that we should believe you. The opposition parties are saying, why should we believe you? Already restaurants are being shortchanged when it comes to their commercial gas cylinders. Tomorrow it could be us. Just like you've told the restaurants and hotels today that, sorry, 20 to 30% shortage is being faced at your end. Tomorrow it could be the domestic consumers. They're saying, why should we trust you? On what basis?
On the basis of our past performance, Padmaja, let us look at the last global conflict, not exactly a conflict which involved nations in military. Allow me, Sanjay, allow me, I was interrupted.
No, I just said like doubling of farm income, that was your promise. I'm just putting it on record.
Even that, well, Sanjay, that has also increased by 1.5 times. Now, you have a sore throat, let us not shout over each other, you will further have to go to the doctor. So just let us judge us.
For the sake of the people of India, I'm willing to lose my voice today.
When I'm caring about you, when I'm caring about you, well,
and if you notice, suddenly my voice is back. You have just caused a medical revolution.
The voice of the common man has strengthened the lungs of Sanjay Jha. That is the power of the common man. But all right. So you're saying your past performance, your track record speaks for you.
Please, 10 seconds.
Okay, only 10 seconds. Before I come to you, Santosh Mehrotra, I'll have to go across to Sarvan of the DMK because his is the state head into elections. And I suspect this could be a big election issue as well. Finish your point, 10 seconds. Pradeep Bhandari.
Well, during the COVID crisis, where Mr. Sanjay Jha was crying that their Made in India vaccines will not work and India will head towards a catastrophic disaster, India fought back under Prime Minister Narendra Modi with the collective will of 140 crore Indians. So this is definitely not the crisis of that magnitude. And just one specific fact I'm again stating, that the LPG booking period has also been raised from 21 days to 25 days to prevent hoarding. So we are monitoring the situation. Be assured our intention is right, unlike the Congress.
But to that, Mamata Banerjee is saying, what if my cylinder gets over in 21 days? You've increased the pre-booking to 25 days. What will I do for those interim 4 days? Stay hungry?
No, she does not need to stay hungry, and nobody is staying hungry. Mamata Banerjee, when she goes out of her dharna, she will know the pulse of Bengal and the people. She should first move out of her dharna and go and at least travel to the houses in Bengal.
All right, A. Sarvanan, before I come to you, I want to show you a little bit of information, because here is what the government has been saying over the last 48 hours of steps that have been taken. What are the concerns flagged and what are the steps taken at this point? So, question number one is there a crisis? Yes, the Gulf supply chains have been disrupted because India imports 60% of its LNG and 90% of this LNG is routed via the Strait of Hormuz, which, as you know, is blocked at present because of the war in West Asia. However, the government is saying that we have prioritized domestic supply. LPG to households is going to remain uninterrupted. Rest assured, you will get the cylinders you want, you will get the cylinders you need. Now, claim number two is when it comes to the restaurants facing a risk of closure. The restaurant owners are saying that yes, we have shortages and commercial LPG is not given priority. This is because 90% of the LPG demand comes from households, only 10% is commercial, and which is why they have been given priority. Households, people, chulha jalta rehna chahiye. However, the government has also asked refineries to boost the LPG supply, and a 3-member panel has been set up to review the demands being made by the restaurants and the hospitality industry. And finally, the third point is, when the third claim comes around, it is about LPG prices. Are they set to skyrocket in the near future? The LPG prices have already been increased by 60 rupees. This net impact is 20 paise per person per day. Also, the government has said that this is not related to war. This is an average increase that happens every year. It was 50 rupees last year. This year it is 60 rupees. Also, it does not apply to the subsidized cylinders. People who enjoy the subsidy are going to get it at the same price. Qatar and Saudi have cut production. Government is boosting domestic production. And the response of the government is, like Pradeep Bhandari just said, the 21-day pre-booking period has been increased to 25 days and domestic cylinders are being given priority in election season. When you are talking about, Mr. Saravanan, of an impending crisis, people are going to be starving, there's going to be no cylinder to cook. Is this a real fear backed by facts or is it fear-mongering? Mr. Saravanan.
Yeah, if somebody listens to just what you have said, Padmaja, they will all think that there is no crisis at all. Everything is super. Milk and honey is flowing, absolutely no problem at all. That is what everybody will think. But the kind of panic it is created. See, we are speaking about domestic cylinders, that there will be no problem with the supply of domestic cylinders. Fine. Right now, there is no crisis with regard to this domestic. But when it comes to this restaurants, in this modern society, when migration is at the peak, most of them, all of them, at least more than 50 to 60% of the people depend on the restaurants, depend on other things to take care of their food needs.
Sir, who are these people who are depending on restaurants for their food needs?
All of them. At least
50% of the population depends on restaurants for their food needs. I thought you said people didn't have money to eat in their houses, leave alone go to restaurants. Who are these extremely prosperous people who are eating at restaurants every day?
Admaja, just one data point.
The DMK guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you come to this. I don't know how you come to this conclusion that restaurants people don't eat. I told you.
I haven't come to the conclusion, but you do realize that it's only after a certain cutoff that people have the kind of income to go to restaurants. Now you are saying that 50% of the population in Tamil Nadu is dependent on restaurants.
You got your facts completely wrong.
I did not say that. 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 Please don't put words into my mouth which I have not said. See, the question is this. If restaurants does not get these gas cylinders, what will be the problem? And why the government has not anticipated this? When the first bomb fell on Iran, why the government has not anticipated this? And the question would be this. Why the government has not? Iran has allowed Chinese and Russian ships to go. If Iran as our ally, we have a port there and we have spent $400 million on that port there. So why we have not maintained that cordiality which we had with Iran? That is the big question. If that was there.
So when it comes to domestic LPG supply, you are saying there is no crisis there. The reason I ask this is because through the day, and that is the real hot button issue, whether people are going to face a fuel shortage at home. I heard members of parliament saying soon we are going to
Right
be forced
now.
to use a wooden stove. There were people who said we will not have any fuel to cook our food in our kitchens. People will have to line up on the streets. There are huge queues outside gas depots. I'm just trying to understand, you do not think that there is any crisis on that front just as yet. The restaurant issue is a valid concern.
Right now,
Padmaja, just one data
right
point.
now, we don't have that issue, but we don't know. See, I'll just add this.
Okay.
See, the problem is, we don't know. The government has not made it very, very clear what is the kind of storage they have
70%.
and how
they
long
actually
it
have
will
said
go.
that.
What can we expect? I think
That
this
we have
has to be-
70%
this has to be,
reserves, which will go on for about 5 to 6
That has to be.
Padmaja, can I just share one data point,
Yeah.
please?
Yeah. So what will happen? If the crisis in Iran continues beyond 5 to 6
Okay,
weeks?
two important points. Rajat
contingency
Sethi, answer
plan?
that. I'm
How are
coming to
they
you,
going
Mr. Mehrotra.
handle
Just a
that?
second, please. Rajat Sethi, one, too little, too late. Plus, you're saying all is well right now. What if this crisis continues in the Middle East for another week, 2 weeks, 2 months? What happens?
I did not say all is well. Clearly, all is not well. And if anybody were in the chair today, it's not a comfortable position to be in. And government of India is trying to do level best and cutting itself short, where you do not come out and start creating panic among the people. That would be irresponsible. What do you expect the government to do today? Should they start off and say that, okay, everything is going to shut, there will be no food, there will be no gas, and you will all starve? Is this what Mr. Jha is trying to imply over here? Governments have to ensure that some kind of a cascaded and a response of rationing is done on certain industries which are low priority, and go up into that ladder where the most impacted are the domestic LPG consumers, and you ensure that 100% supply is made to the domestic LPG consumers. That is what the government is doing. Look at also what Pakistan is doing. By the way, they have shut their offices right now. They have transformed their work week to 4-day work week. It is not a problem only of India. China, somebody was quoting that China doesn't have a problem because it is, their vessels are being allowed through the.
Sorry, Jonda, please.
Are we, what kind of a news analysis are you all doing here? Just Google a little bit around the prices of LPG in China. They have some of the biggest strategic reserves around the world. And still the prices of both the LPG as well as oil has shot up even in China. It is a global problem, and we need to be mature about finding ways. There will be rationing that will happen. We will all have to accommodate with that.
Mr.
And what do you
Mehrotra?
mean if you have better relations with Iran? Will your vessels start flying suddenly? Or will your airplanes go out and fetch oil over there? I mean, this is completely bizarre argumentation that is happening here. If we put ourselves in the shoes of the government and come up with a more reasoned response that instead of policy A, we should propose a policy B, then we should have this debate.
Santosh
Otherwise,
Mehrotra.
I don't understand what Mr. Sanjay Jha has been trying to iterate here.
Okay, before he
Padmaja,
responds,
can I give a
just a
rejoinder?
second. Let Santosh Mehrotra speak. It is a global problem. India is doing the best we can. And at this point, it is better to go along rather than fearmonger. Mr. Mehrotra.
I need to respond to Mr.
I will
Sethi
come to
later.
you.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not here to answer for those who might be fear-mongering or who might be believing that some people are fear-mongering. The bottom line is that people who run small restaurants all across the length and breadth of this entire vast country have said, the restaurateurs have said, that the migrant worker, that's what Shravanand was talking about. The South runs, the economy runs on the strength of the migrant worker. Padmajaji, you seem to be unaware of the reality on the ground. The vast majority of working people in cities in our country live and eat off the street. For that, they need the commercial cylinder. And there is a crisis in the commercial cylinder. This is point one. So let's not sit in our nice AC rooms and talk about domestic LPG cylinders being nicely supplied. Technical point two. Those of us who live in large cities have a supply of piped gas. Piped gas is technically different from LPG. Why? Because that's LNG, which we import. LPG, which is what goes into the cylinder, is made domestically from imported crude oil. It's made from petrol, from further refining petrol. So if we had built up a reasonable supply, this shortage, even for the industrial cylinders, would not have arisen. Point 2. Point 3. A claim was made by the BJP spokesperson that the crude price of international oil is correcting. Is it? Do you actually follow the market? I follow it on a very, very minute by minute basis. So may I tell you what the facts are?
Okay, Pradeep Bhandari, don't underplay the...
No, let me just tell you the facts, Padmaja. I haven't told you the facts. How would he know the facts?
Okay, go on, finish your point.
In the last 24 hours alone, in the spot price, yes, the price went to $119 and then that fell to $83. The buyers and the sellers were tearing their hair out because there was such fluctuation about, tankers being diverted towards Asia from Europe. Please try and understand this can lead to situation on prices fluctuating. Bottom line is the government has delayed building up stocks. The war has been going on for 11 days. And it will go on for months. I can give you in writing. This is going to go on for
too late and it's going to get worse. Pradeep Bhandari and then Rajat Sethi.
Absolutely.
Both. Political and technical response.
Padmaja, I want to come in, please.
Well, first of all, let me just state certain facts because Mr. Mehrotra has stated half-truths. Fact number 1, the LPG price in India is 913. Please, Mr. Mehrotra, if you can enlighten the viewers, what was the LPG price in 2022? It was hovering around the 900 bracket. So the LPG price has not increased 100% or 200% even after the war.
I didn't say a word about LPG price, Baba.
Please, I am answering.
International price, Baba.
No.
Listen to.
Baba, I am answering.
कान भी खराब हो गए हैं बीजेपी की ज्वाइन करने के बाद.
Mehrotra ji, you are acting like a Congress spokesperson. Please, you are an economist. You might.
तुम तो बीजेपी में स्पोक्सपर्सन हो. मैं किसी का स्पोक्सपर्सन नहीं हूँ. तुम तो हो स्पोक्सपर्सन. जब कभी नहीं थे और 10 साल में बीजेपी के स्पोक्सपर्सन बन गए हो.
मिस्टर मेहरोत्रा, मैं तो अपने दायित्व को निभा रहा हूँ. आप इकोनॉमिस्ट हो कि इकोनॉमिस्ट का दायित्व निभाओ ना. कांग्रेस का मत दायित्व निभाओ. मेरी बात तो सुनो आप.
अभी तुमको दायित्व ही निभा रहे थे, इसीलिए तुम्हारी बैंड बच गई. समझ नहीं आ रहा है कैसे जवाब दोगे.
मिस्टर मेहरोत्रा, आपका ना दिमाग खराब हो गया है, इसीलिए आप इस वक्त पर्सनल हो रहे हो. मैं आपकी उम्र की इज्जत कर रहा हूँ, इसीलिए आप इतने घबरा रहे हो.
Okay, back to facts.
Let me just state certain facts. Fact number 1. In United States of America, the price is increased by 14%, in Britain by 6%, Australia by 15%, Mr. Mehrotra's favorite China by 10%, Sri Lanka by 15%, Pakistan by 20%, South Korea by 10%. India, the petrol prices are constant. It is 96.72 in 2022 and in 2026, 94.72. Domestic LPG consumption, where has been there corruption?
Yeah, Padmaja, there are 2 points I wish to make. Pradeep, let me speak.
No, allow me to complete. Mr. Mehrotra here cannot act as an economist and start peddling political agenda. Where has been there a crisis apart from 3 specific instances of restaurant owners which the government is going to address?
देश भर में.
How can you lie? आपको शर्म आनी चाहिए मेहरोत्रा जी. शर्म आनी चाहिए.
अरे गोदी मीडिया के चैनल्स के अलावा और भी चैनल देख लिया करो.
आप भी
There is really no need for that, sir. Mr. Mehrotra, there is really no need for that.
तभी आपकी इकोनॉमी को कोई सुनता नहीं है और आपके
Padmaja, can I come in?
लेके ना आधी इकोनॉमी हो गई थी.
Okay, restaurants have a problem, but there is no widespread panic, Sanjay Jha. I mean, again, I come back to the point that to say that, we are going to be up, pardon my language, but I can't think of any other word because that is the kind of, impression being given to convey that we are up shit creek is really, really overstating the case.
It is not. And let me respond to both Mr. Bhandari and Mr. Rajat Sethi, who are lying to your viewers in bullet points. Number 1, the restaurant sector, don't take it casually. It contributes nearly 3.75% to our GDP, employs nearly 8 million people. Many are going to lose their jobs. The BJP has a lot of responsibility here. They're trying to make it as if it's nothing. Point number 2, the rupee is on a free fall, and when $10 price of a barrel goes up, India's deficit or import bill will rise up by a minimum of $12 billion. A higher current account deficit, a higher fiscal deficit is going to lead to inflation. This is basic economics. They are trying to actually keep everyone blinded. Here is the third point. Even when the Strait of Hormuz, I know my data, I'm also an economic student, there are non-oil exports. Padmaja, pay attention to that. 13% of India's non-oil exports come through the Strait of Hormuz.
Okay.
What they are not telling you is about the depreciation of the rupee,
Okay.
the fact that the restaurant sector is critical. Domestic people are paying already more as well. They are paying 60 rupees more.
Rajat Sethi,
How
restaurants
is India
today,
not-
homes tomorrow, fiscal deficit, inflation, non-oil imports.
Right on your show, Pratmaja. Domestic people are not paying 60 rupees extra for the LPG. Mr. Jha, you are a big liar. You are competing with Mr. Mehrotra online.
Yeah.
Both of you should enter into a lying competition.
Yeah.
Where is the domestic LPG prices increased by 60 rupees?
You don't know.
How
You don't
dare
know your
lie?
facts.
No,
You
no,
clearly
no,
don't know your
I-
facts.
The non-subsidized cylinders are more expensive by 60 rupees, right?
Yeah. He
The
doesn't know it. He
non-subsidized
doesn't know his
cylinders
facts.
are more expensive by 60
Right.
rupees.
That is
But that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's the tip of the iceberg, Rajat Sethi.
How much-
It's being argued, it's the tip of the iceberg.
So again, Padmaji, honestly, I don't need economist lessons from people who are political out here. I will state certain things which we all agree with. The size of the pie is a shrinking size. We all agree with that. I started off with this. We understand there is a crisis. If every single oil well that is out there is bombed, there will be zero supply, which means there will be crisis. But that does not mean that the government in every pedestal should start screaming on the top of their voice that tomorrow you are heading into a disaster zone. Let's all pack up our bags and go on to a caravan. What do you expect to do? What government can do today is to ensure the strategic reserves are maintained. What government needs to do is to identify what are the priority areas where the supply should be maintained and where the non-priority cuts can happen. By simple data that ultimately restaurants are 10% consumers of the LPG versus the domestic, which is 90%, that gives you a clear indication that it is 10% where the prioritization has been done in terms of the cuts and all. And are you not going out? I am right now sitting in Chennai. I am going around all restaurants. There is not a single restaurant which has been shut. I don't understand where is this fear mongering out of a sadist approach. People here are saying that it will go on for months. Are people here Mr. Trump? That they have a crystal ball that they can
Mr. Saravanan.
whether a war is going to go on for
So you've got a
months or
Chennai
20.
counter.
How are you
Padmaja.
coming to a
Yeah,
conclusion?
yeah.
You know, some people have a disease.
And
Yes.
let me remind you,
See,
during the
Chennai-
Gulf War,
Chennai- in Chennai-
we had
yeah.
reserves of only
Before this
3 to
country-
8 days, as opposed to here, where we are being told that we have reserves for at least 6 to 7 weeks. During the Gulf War, only 8
Yeah, Padmaja.
days.
Yeah, Padmaja. See, See, in Chennai, the restaurants have tweaked their menus. It's only a matter of days before something which will reflect very badly on their day-to-day
There
activities.
is a crisis globally. People worldwide are rationing their reserves, are
Yeah, I
rationing
understand.
their resources.
Yeah, Padmaja, I'll answer that. I'll answer that question. See, why this is not fear mongering. We don't have faith in this government. We know what they did in demonetization. We know what they did during the COVID crisis.
Okay, so that's what it boils down
Such a
to.
situation happening. This government is an
Politics at the end of
incompetent
the day.
government. They don't know.
Rajat
They
Sethi.
won't know how to handle a crisis.
There is a
Politics.
trust
It's only
deficit
debating
more than anything
politics,
else.
Padmaja. This is not about economics.
Give me 50 days.
So this is politics. So let's
What
debate
happened?
out politics.
What
Now
happened?
let us
What happened?
identify
The same
what has
thing
the
will happen
DMK
here.
government done.
This is politics.
DMK,
It
no,
is
sir,
politics.
DMK government, what are the policy measures DMK government has done? How are you trying to manage? As a shadow prime minister, what is
explain
Stalin
you.
doing?
I'll explain you.
Yeah, please explain me.
Yes, I will answer that. Yes,
Tell me.
our chief minister today convened a meeting to find out ways.
Meeting?
Yes, I'm telling.
Meeting.
Please wait.
What is the output of the
Our
meeting?
chief minister.
What is
has
the output of the meeting?
Convened a meeting.
What is the output of the meeting, sir?
Wait, sir. Wait.
Go ahead.
We have a prime minister. At least our chief ministers had the idea to conduct a meeting. But whereas the prime minister, I don't know. Tomorrow,
The
he'll
prime minister is not conducting a meeting.
Yes,
Are
but other
you
big
so
jobs.
dumb that
No,
you're
you
coming
can't
on a
compare
national
me.
television
Yeah,
and saying,
we-
"Oh my God"?
You are dumb.
can I have
You are
debate with
so
people
dumb.
who are so
You are
political
so
in their-
dumb. Oh my God, how dumb you can be. How dumb you can
You are
be.
saying that Stalin had a meeting. I said, what was the outcome of the meeting?
Finding out
It is a
reasons.
simple
You are a dumb
question.
guy.
What is the outcome of the
I will
meeting?
tell you, man.
You said Stalin
you are
had a
not allowing
meeting.
me to answer. You are not allowing
I am
me to
asking you
answer.
for the past
I
5
keep
minutes.
Asking. Yes, he had a meeting. The outcome. We have. Stop screaming. I will answer. If you stop screaming, you'll be able to hear me and listen to me. Yeah. So the meeting and where we have discussed ways and means how to minimize the issue, how to minimize the crisis. It will come
Outcome,
out.
sir.
We will explain.
Don't-
At least that's what I'm saying.
don't
At least
filibuster.
our
What
chief
is the
minister,
outcome?
sir, allow me to speak. At least the chief minister had the idea to have this meeting.
So he had a meeting, Padmaja. I don't have the patience. Neither your viewers have the patience. What
Okay, you know, we've heard the objections here. The fact of the matter is, irrespective of whatever you say, Pradeep Bhandari,
What is the outcome of the
optics matter, and in election season, optics matter more than anything else. You remember that in Delhi, your government was brought down on the issue of onions. And today, even if there is a war, even if you're saying we've done everything, 1 month from now, you're going to go into election season, and if people have to pay more for their cylinder, if they do not get adequate supply of cylinders, even if these are people in restaurants, what has the National Restaurant Association said? They have said this could lead to catastrophic closures. The supply has stopped immediately after the issue of this order, and suppliers have indicated that commercial LPG cylinders will be stopped. This will have a serious impact on citizens. In election season, this is not what you want.
Well, Padmaja, India at this moment has one of the lowest inflation which you've seen post-independent with the fastest growing economy. The fact is that there is a conflict going on in the Middle East. We have to... Sir, I did not interrupt you. This is not correct, Sanjay. Otherwise, I will not let you speak in any debate where you sit with me in any channel. So now listen to me for 30 seconds, then you can filibuster. Fact number one, we are at this moment, Middle East is in crisis. All of us admit it. Despite that, Padmaja, India is having stable oil prices. India is having a stable diesel prices, and we are ensuring there is minimum negative impact on the common man. Let me quote you a data. Non-subsidized LPG cylinder, May 2014, 906 rupees. Non-subsidized LPG cylinder, March 2026, 913 rupees. There has only been an increment of 5 rupees. So as the situation will move forward, we are monitoring the situation. But the Congress party is looking at the political opportunity and trying to spread panic like they did during the time of COVID, like they did during the time of Russia-Ukraine war. After that, successive elections have taken place. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has got the mandate again because people trust Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and the common man.
All your elections are rigged.
Zero adverse impact.
All your
Zero adverse
victories are
impact.
rigged.
And you know, that's the thing, that's where the
This
politics
guy's
comes
crazy
in.
now.
Here on
This
this
guy's
panel,
crazy.
Sanjay
This
Jha,
is
you,
election
Santosh
crazy.
Mehrotra, A. Sarvanan, all of you have said that when it comes to people, when it comes to households, there is no real shortage. But look at what is being said by the politicians. We had DK Shivkumar today say all the prices will shoot up very soon. Everyone has to look at alternatives like firewood, electric stoves, kerosene stoves. The central government is not reacting. Mamata Banerjee says, now you have to book gas 21 days prior. What will you do for 21 days if the LPG at your home finishes? Another person, Akhilesh Yadav, said that soon we will not have anything to cook inside our kitchens. The thing is that you also know that the facts and what is being said are poles apart. And this seems more political than anything else.
Is that a question to me?
Yes, Mr. Jha.
Yeah, you know, Padmaja, the simple truth is this, that this government continues to live in Alice in Wonderland or La La Land. When you have a problem that the world is talking about,
Sanjay, we are on the ground. We are not
Mr.
saying that the
Bhandari,
petrol
Mr. Bhandari,
shut down after
बात सुन लो इसकी बात सुन लो बीच में ना बोलो don't be a
Bhandari,
typical
can I
Congress
speak?
spokesperson.
You know, Padmaja, I'll tell you, he's interrupting. Okay, can I speak without an interruption, Bhandari ji? Here is the truth, Padmaja, that a lot of people don't know. The simple truth is that people cannot do without oil, without kerosene, LPG, petrol, diesel. What has the Modi government done since 2014? When the prices came down, they did not pass on the benefit to the ordinary consumer. Your citizens watching the program did not get the benefit of a cheaper crude price, and they made money on excise and on higher prices. They exploited the common man, and they continue to do that today. They continue to do that today. So if you listen to them, They're now going to say the global price has gone up, so we're going to charge
Sir, but price has gone up for the whole world. Do you know that European countries, the price of gas has gone up by 30 to 40% as opposed to 6 to 7% in our country? Nobody is denying that there is a global crisis. How can we deny it? There is a war raging. There is a shortage of supply. Nobody can deny it. But the question is, how do you deal with it? What are the measures that you have taken? How are you rationing? How are you cushioning your people? What else do you suggest be done? Can you wish away the war?
Well, Padmaja, the simple answer here actually should have been two things. That number one, you should have adequate reserves, strategic reserves. The second fundamental question is, did we realize when Mr. Modi went to Israel and began to sing and dance in Tel Aviv that 50% of your oil imports come from the Middle East route? He should have been aware of that the common man will pay a price for his political posturing. I think the BJP needs to apologize to the people of India. Narendra Modi's own political branding has exceeded the economic pressures that Indians face.
All right, so you've heard the criticism here.
Do not buy ice cream.
Okay, you've heard the criticism. You have heard of the facts when it comes to what measures the government says it has taken. It would, though, be a confidence-building measure if all of this was heard not on TV debates, not through sources, but at least from the horse's mouth, perhaps in Parliament, which is also being suggested by the opposition parties, where a statement of fact should be made before the people by the government. Yes, there is a crisis. The people recognize there is a crisis. What is being done? It needs to be cogently spelled out. Let's hope that happens. For the time being, all gentlemen, thanks very much for joining me.